Theme 1: Mining in the Sky. With the Earth and its landscapes constantly under pressure of exploitation, we turn towards new territories to ease the burden. The United States, engaging in mining valuable asteroid material, began controversy over the legality of crossing into space territory, their quest directly conflicting with laws passed to prevent claiming extraterrestrial soil for any state. With the asteroid belt not belonging to any authority, the US's plans of establishing a mining hierarchy solely for the economic benefit of a few dissolves with asteroid material at liberty to be taken by anyone. The new territory, hijacked by other nations for a multitude of clashing uses, began to change and grow. The mining in the sky phenomenon proved unsuccessful as political unrest began to cloud monetary gain. Processes from governments began to ease, rendering the equipment in space useless. Objects that would simply collide with satellites and cause future chaos. Therefore, a decision was made to risk dumping these in the most remote point in the ocean, an area void of all life but bacteria, Point Nemo. Whether Earth and its inhabitants should be, or can cross boundaries, build and harvest in new territories is perceived very differently by other nations. What territories that we can use or manipulate successfully remains to be seen. Theme 2: Planetary Arc. A collection of living animals was launched into space on a mission to test the survivability of our new territory. The main goal to save species currently threatened by the sixth mass extinction in Earth's history by sending them in an arc to the International Space Station. Speculating off Comet Halley's next journey in 2061 and the plan to create new organisms via launching a xenoagent into the comet, a micro-ecosystem was designed on board the Ark for the resettlement on Earth. Since 1947, the first living creatures intentionally sent into space were fruit flies, and the following years, 32 monkeys and apes have been to space, all dying while re-entering the Earth's atmosphere. Animal space travel was a cruel and unsuccessful experiment for decades. What it seems to be is humans and the making of worlds, under the microcosm experiments on the form of life as well as the representation of the nature and life creating our living creatures. Microcosm's scientific experiences under simulation have many different programmatic languages. Animals are saved, experiences are tested for the further scientific exploitation of our ecosystem, but we intend to use different methodologies. Over the past decades of binary programming, we stimulate experiences and life cycles through a procedure with superpositions. Simulated ecosystem testing under different locations, under the possibilities of a macrosystem within space or on Earth. Theme 3: Pacific Cemetery. After failed attempts at mining extraterrestrial territories and launching countless flights into space, the graveyard has been formed as a burial ground for those incredibly costly machines. Costly both financially for their associated governments and environmentally for the planet we live on. It has become known as Pacific Cemetery, a new territory kept from the general public and stashed away as a final resort for climate refugees. The cemetery looks to use recycled materials from these space wreckages and claim Point Nemo, one of the four most remote places on Earth, as our new and final territory. The development of a new territory was required. The public, who have since lost their homes to rising sea levels and extreme weather events, sought after a biblical savior, the Ark. The design of an ark and navigation at sea has developed dramatically since its birth, with military vessels using the nautical compass and divider as traditional methods up until the introduction of database navigation. The database navigation allowed for a new territory to be discovered, a new world perhaps, an area for climate refugees to seek peace and start a new life. However, to the passengers on the Ark, there is an unfortunate sight. The Pacific Cemetery complex rises from the depths of the ocean, another man-made monument which further exploits natural environments. The Ark docks in this vessel that floats upon the Pacific, the cables running from the seafloor up to power it. Pacific Cemetery is a data center, an archive of life, as space debris crashes each day to make the structure stronger and expand the material island's territory. Instead of consuming the land of the Earth, we start taking over portions of the sea, condemning it to complete darkness as light is blocked. Upon entry to the dark data point, it becomes apparent that archival and surveillance data is key, with readings of concepts far beyond the imagination of man today. As the Great Pacific's current swells, the Pacific Cemetery moves with it, flexible with the ocean, using data analysis to track how it moves through the waves and predicts where it will go next. Theme 4.